Welcome to the journey. Imagine spending 2 years building your dream startup. You quit your job, you invest your savings, your friends believe in you, your family supports you. Finally, you launch, and after 6 months, nobody buys. Not because your technology was bad, not because your team wasn't talented, but because you solved a problem that nowhere actually exists. This happens thousands of times every year, and that's exactly why I created this masterclass. Hello everyone, my name is Jay Modi and welcome to the Before the Investment Masterclass, the startup masterclass every founder should watch before spending their first rupees. This is not another startup course that teaches you how to raise funding, how to pitch investors, or how to build a beautiful pitch deck. Because none of those things matter if you are building the wrong company. This masterclass teaches you something much more valuable, how to think before you build. Because 1 hour of thinking can save you years of rebuilding. So, before we begin, let me tell you why I wrote this book. Why I wrote this book? When I started studying entrepreneurship, I read dozens of startup books. Most of them were excellent, but I noticed one common pattern. Almost every book was focused on questions like how do I raise investment, how do I pitch angels, how do I prepare my pitch deck, how do I increase my valuations. Those are important questions, but they are not the first questions. The first question should always be, should this startup even exist? I realized something. Entrepreneurs are learning how to build companies before learning whether customers actually need those companies. That's a backward. Imagine building a luxury hotel in the middle of a desert where nobody travels. It doesn't matter how beautiful the hotel is, nobody will come. The same thing happens in startup. That's why this book teaches something different. We focus on thinking before building, validating customers before writing codes, finding real customer problems, creating investors' demand instead of chasing investors. Because investors don't fund ideas, they fund evidence. Which brings us to one of the biggest myths in entrepreneurship. Why do startups fail? Ask people why startups fail, and almost everyone gives the same answer. They ran out of money. But that's not the real reason. Running out of money is simply the last symptoms. The disease started much earlier. Think about a patient. A patient doesn't die because the heart stopped. The heart stopped because something else caused it. The same happens with startups. Founders don't fail because investors said no. Investors says no because customers said no. Most startups failure begin with four mistakes. Number one, solving a problem that nobody really has. Number two, not clearly identifying who the customer actually is. Number three, never validating whether people pay or not. And number four, building a business model that cannot scale. By the time founders realize these mistakes, they have already spent months, sometimes years, and sometimes crores of rupees. The purpose of this masterclass is to help you discover those mistakes before they become so expensive. So, what exactly are you going to learn throughout this journey? What you will learn. This masterclass follows the same process that experienced entrepreneurs and consultants use. First, ideation and validation. We will learn how to discover real customer pain, not assumption, not guesses, and real evidence. Second, target market fit. We will identify exactly who suffers from that problem and who is actually willing to pay. Number three, business design. Here we will design a business model that creates sustainable profit, not just revenue. And finally, investor readiness. Notice something important. Investment comes at the end, not at the beginning, because investors invest in certainty, not excitement. Now, let me show you the roadmap we will follow. Validation roadmap. Every successful startup follows the same journey. Welcome. This is where we remove the myths and replace opinions with facts. Isolate the S. Most founders build vitamins, few build painkillers. Customers ignore vitamins. Customers urgently buy painkillers. We will learn how to identify problems that customers desperately want to solve. Build proof. Before spending money, we will collect evidence, real conversation, real feedback, and real commitment. Evidence always beats assumption. Scale and fund. Only after validation, only after proof, only after customer demand should founder think about scaling or raising investment. Everything in his roadmap have one objective: to move your startup from a dream to evidence. If you continue this entire masterclass, you will learn differently from the most of founders. You will stop asking questions, how do I raise money, and start asking, how do I create proof? Because when your startup has proof, investors come looking for you. In our next session, we will going to learn the foundation of every successful startup, the founder's mindset. I will see you in the next module.